Defensive line?
A plus. I mean, that is the MVP position of the year so far. Akeem Mesidor is probably the best player on the team, and he's playing like it. Everybody, I mean, even the rotation guys, even guys who like you didn't really even think. Yeah, exactly, Charles Johnson. But even guys that you didn't think that were going to be impact players or really played meaningful snaps, a la your Jordan Millers of the world and everything, stepping up and playing big rotation snaps and playing well. Now I need some other guys to step up more. I need Chance Williams to take that next step. I need Jafari Harvey to be a little bit more impactful in the mold of a Josh Mesidor. Oh, sorry, not Josh, Akeem Mesidor. I need a little bit more diversity to my excellence on defensive line, but that is the bellwether position on the team. A plus.
Akeem Mesidor, 3.5 sacks against Virginia Tech.
Your ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week and Walter Camp Defensive Player National of the Week, Akeem Mesidor.
Sore spot in previous seasons, linebacker?
C plus, not where it needs to be, but ticking in the positive direction, especially recently. And I think that has a big thing to do with Wesley Besainth in the same kind of developmental way of Colby Young finally getting his legs under him, getting settled, and really starting to just play football. And you can start as you're going into something new. It's a lot of thinking. It's less reactive, but to be good at football, you got to just kind of read it and go. So Corey Flagg, I think he's playing really well in most of the things they ask him to do. I still don't love him in space. And that touchdown against Middle Tennessee, the first one where they threw a 6-yard curl and then the guy ran forever because, Flagg wasn't really able to make a play in space. That still is a factor, but even with giving up things in the passing game, he's still doing, maybe better than I thought he was going to. And I need to be honest about that. So I'm trying to be as loud with the credit as I was with the criticism. I still think that there's holes to his game, i.e. he's not fast. He's not really athletic in that kind of a way. And he's not going to be because he is who he is. But he gets the defense aligned really well. He plays downhill. He's very good in the run game and things like that. So, yeah, he's playing to a good level. I still would like to see more Gilbert Frierson in general, but that's just kind of a ship that's pretty sailed, I think, at this point to the season. I don't know necessarily why he's fallen down the list so much, but they're playing, I think, an extra defensive back as opposed to that striker, that hybrid safety outside backer position, which is a position that he has locked down. So if you're going to allocate that to a DB or James Williams coming down from safety, and playing that near the box, in the box position, if you want to play him instead of Gilbert Frierson, I get it. So there's a little bit of that, but I think there still needs to be development at linebacker. Last week's game against Virginia Tech was the best game at linebacker that I've seen from Miami in a long time, and a lot of people have said that, even Kevin Steele. So that's positive, but I mean that's maybe even generous to give it a C plus. So maybe I'll take that down to a C or so. But yeah, at least you can start to see things going in the direction that they need to at linebacker. So hopefully that continues.
DBs, you can take that on any way you'd like. Split the corner safeties.
Yeah, this is the biggest disappointment for me, honestly. The continual path towards DJ Ivey being the person that the staff always tells us that he is. That is going to be Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the mountain. I mean, just every year, and again, he looks the part and everything, but they're still just taking advantage of him in the passing game. Now, he's played lots better recently. But still, when you take, into account the other games when, he's getting bombed, like that's not great. Tyreek Stevenson, I think, has taken a step back this year. But I think that he needs to be quickly on the path from cornerback to safety. I think that he's Antrell Roll in that way, where like Antrell Roll was like super athletic and big, but he was able to last in the league for a while and then transition to safety. I think that Tyreek Stevenson is going to be quicker on that transition from corner to safety, with the same body type and play style and everything, but the foot speed is an issue there, right? So yeah, I think that he's a little bit miscast. I think that if he were at Georgia, they would have moved him in. I mean, they were playing him mostly inside. And I don't say it's safety, but like he was playing like nickel a lot, and everything like that. So I think that he played in like nickel going towards safety. I think that would be the best use of his skill set. Corey Couch struggled early, and he's getting his stuff together. Daryl Porter Jr. Was just behind Stevenson, so he hasn't had too much, but he's starting to come on a little bit. But yeah, to the previous point, the Middle Tennessee State game on its own gets a D from the defensive backfield for this first half of the season. The safeties have been disappointing. James Williams, I know that he name searches on Twitter because I've seen it from conversations with people that I've been having, or I've had the conversation in person, and I've seen a person tweet about it using his name, especially when he was a recruit. And then he name searches and he quote tweets, "Nah, I'm a safety coach. I'm a safety. I'm not going to grow no outside linebacker." Buddy, you're an outside linebacker. Or in the box safety. If you want to say, fine, he can be a Cam Chancellor safety where he plays center field sometimes and does it well, but like also moving into the box. And we're seeing him do that more and be effective at it. Now he needs to learn how to wrap up and use that big frame in a physical kind of way. But I think that is, splitting his time between being a deep safety and in the box. I think that that's the better usage for his skill set. And you're starting to see that happen. I think that's going to trend more towards the linebacker position as he continues to age and grow. Cam Kinchins has been the best at safety, but even he has blown coverages 4 touchdowns this year multiple times. And so that's disheartening because, you're giving up multiple touchdowns in the same way multiple times. I mean, if you're playing cover 2, you need to be deep half. But, I think this is this. And then they dress up the playbook to trick the safety. That's what they want. They want you not to do your job and to gamble. And every time he's gambled, it's come up snake eyes, and the other team has queued up the band and changed the scoreboard. So I don't like that. But he's still making lots of tackles. He's still covering lots of ground. He has made interceptions and things. So when he does his job, he does it well. Those kind of few times where he's like, I'm going to gamble and see if I got this right. If I watch enough film where I know the wrinkle that they're throwing at me. And each time he's done that, he is not. So that needs to tighten up. Avante Williams finally getting on the field more is good. Avante Williams was the one last week who blew that coverage a la Cam Kinchins that should have been a touchdown, but luckily Virginia Tech is terrible, and he dropped that ball when he was 3 steps behind. So I see why maybe a little bit, but and then the other guys at that position, Brian Balaam, who was my study hall student at Miramar my last year teaching there, some other guys as well in the safety room. They're not necessarily getting many snaps because you're going to play the better guys in front end. Like, I get it. But even with playing those better guys, when you have those critical failure moments, that's really a negative impact on the grade. So, yeah, I would agree, for the defensive backfield, probably a D minus for the first half of the year. I mean, it's been pretty bad. And then also, you let Texas A&M throw for yardage and touchdowns. That's bad. So